Now listen to this. It's a brand new shopping center to you and me. It's there for our convenience and perhaps even a space for entertainment. But behind the scenes, the seeming order behind a R1 billion development hangs by a thread. Without the continued presence of heavily armed private security services that cost the developers a small fortune each month, they would fork out a whole lot more to the notorious Construction Mafia. They showed up the day before the opening demanding a 30% cut of all income, and it took the security company big guns and helicopters to chase them out. One wrong move and they will be back. This is not new nor unique. This cancer has spread and taken hold in many parts of the country. What does it cost this economy and why should you care? Well, we're joined now by Webster Mfebe, who's the Chief Executive Officer of SAFCEC. Of course, this is the South African Forum of Civil Engineering Contractors. Webster Mfebe, I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for being available.
Thank you, Bongani.
As I said in my introduction, this is neither new nor unique. In fact, it's been rife for a number of years now.
Yes, indeed, it has been for quite a number of years now. Although in certain instances it seems to be abating and it flares up in other areas, which needs really concerted effort, especially very hard and quick response from the law enforcement agencies, in addition to the efforts that the industry is making in terms of engaging with some who have decided to abandon that violent strategy to work within the law. And obviously, there are disturbing allegations such as the involvement of some politicians, business people, and police in perpetuating this culture of extortion with impunity. Then if that was true, it means that we have building blocks for a perfect, for an emerging situation where we can declare South Africa a failed state. You cannot have business people, politicians, and the police, some of them allegedly involved in this type of thing. It is really worrying.
Who are the Construction Mafia? In other words, are these localized groups? Are they all working in concert? Do they pop up, in different areas and take sort of opportunistic advantage of developments? Who are they?
Obviously, we need not beat about the bush. It's organized crime. It's organized gang, which fit then the purview of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, where police need to activate their strategies to deal with organized crime. In 2019, as a result of exactly what you are explaining, we as SAFCEC approached the National Prosecuting Authority and the National Police Commissioner's Office to have this type of thing declared organized crime and be dealt with a lot of resources that are in fact dedicated in dealing with that type of crime because it is a serious crime. But we are seeing very few encouraging results in terms of arrests. We need to see more arrests. We need to see people jailed. We need to see very long sentences meted out on these people who are involved in these kind of things.
Let's just take a step back, Webster. There's, I want to almost call it an anomaly in the law that requires local employment, right, for projects. And that's the entryway of these gangs. And that's what makes them entitled to their share of the projects.
That is not a problem. That is legislated involvement of local communities, especially designated targeted groups like women, youth, people with disability are mentioned there as beneficiaries. And the other intricacy about this is that in terms of the law, a National Treasury does not view local as your district where you're staying or municipality as in South Africa, because that is consistent with the provisions of the Constitution, where every citizen has a right to economic activity. Everyone has a right to economic activity anywhere in South Africa. But truth be told, if you bring people from outside without involving local businesses, it becomes a real problem. And that real problem results, emanates from the fact that armed gangs take advantage of genuine community concerns for selfish reasons. And this is a problem that is also, among other things, caused by the fact that there's a growing social distance and discord between communities and public representatives who are not present when the people have grievances. And you have seen this, Bongani, in service delivery protests, where only leaders only show up after communities have burned down a school, a library, and so on.
Yeah.
And the other problem is the easy access and the easy access to and proliferation of illicit guns. This country is in trouble. When there's a lot of illicit guns in the hands of communities, there will come a time when community gangs are going to outgun the police. And then we have a problem of a failed state in this country.
And that's why often in these situations, the police do look away. But there's also the idea that some politicians in local councils might also be involved working with these syndicates.
Well, there are serious allegations to that effect. Personally, I do not have any evidence of that, but that has been mentioned a number of times, that it is alleged that some are used as personal armies for these and mobilization cartels for certain politicians. And with businesses, it is alleged that, for an example, if I offer plant that is equipment, construction equipment, I would go to a particular company as a business and say, I know that you've received a contract, please, I offer these services, can we work together so that I can supply that plant? If a contractor refuses, then he goes to the Construction Mafia and that site will be disrupted. There are such allegations, and they are very serious. Some allegations that business people themselves pay bribes to the Construction Mafia just to tick the box of local involvement as required by law. And again, I have said, even to the National Police Minister and the generals, where I was addressing the National Policing Strategy on the 23rd of May this year, that if that is true, that police and some business people are involved in perpetrating these things, they need to be attended to expeditiously and be dealt with.
I mean, because we have all kinds of mafias in South Africa, don't we? From coal to cable and copper theft and now construction. I mean, when you hear a minister like the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan talk about this kind of problem in exasperated frustration, as if he's not part of the government meant to tackle it, what do you think? And how does this kind of thing play out to international investors?
Well, this sends a very negative signal, and of course, a dim view on the part of the not only international but local investors. You would recall, Bongani, that there is a saying that local business people have got lots of fluid cash, and they are on investment strike. Who would invest in a situation where there's lawlessness, there's rule of law does not seem to take root, properly. You have seen the Mtentu Bridge in the Eastern Cape, where an international company, Strasbourg International, had to pull out of South Africa. We've seen recently also in Saldanha, where an oil storage tank was disrupted, which was also an international. We have also seen not only does that have impact on investor sentiment, but on the skills flight in this country. In 2019, we lost 110 engineers and technical staff who went to other countries to look for greener pastures. So we have a serious problem that needs to be attended to. But at the heart of the failure is the absence or failure of conscious and ethical leadership, a leadership that is always present to resolve the problems of the people. There is a window of opportunity, Bongani. The president launched what is called the district development model, which could be used to have unity of purpose among stakeholders to deal with this problem. And a district where a project is to be implemented must then consult the public entity that is going to deliver the project. For an example, if the building of a hospital, Department of Health, or if it's the building of the road, Sandral, and then they come together as a district, make sure that, and also work with the police to make sure that all the preparations in regard to the delivery of that project is dealt with by all stakeholders, including local community organizations and representatives, including traditional leaders. And if we can take advantage of that district development model, because there can be no development, Bongani, if a mall is disrupted that is supposed to provide a road, if a clinic and a public road and a hospital is disrupted, that project, then there can be no development. Then this district development model must find meaning in the actual acting together of all those who are involved, including local stakeholders.
We need more action and less talk, Webster Mfebe. I appreciate your time. That's the Chief Executive Officer there at SAFCEC, just talking to us. I mean, they demand all sorts of things, these construction mafia, to be appointed subcontractors, protection fees, a cut of income. And they're not just going after retail commercial space, but even Solidarity's brand new university campus was threatened by these guys. They go after clinics, they go after hospitals, they go after schools, roads, you name it. And it's just staggering to me that this has been allowed to take hold without an adequate response.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.